Have you ever found yourself struggling to heal a particular issue? Maybe you're using another healing modality like Reiki, or maybe just different types of meditation. And often these particular types of healing methods have been very successful for you in the past, but maybe for the particular issue you're working on at the moment, you're struggling to get any results with it. And you're just wondering why. What is going on with this particular case? Or maybe you are practicing another modality and you're enjoying it, but you're still a little bit frustrated because there seems to be a lot of different rules and limitations for this. There are things you can and can't do. And even with the healing modality itself, it's like you can only do so much with it, and then you're limited by that. You can't go beyond, and you feel almost that intuitively you know that there's more kind of innate healing abilities within you, more abilities that want to kind of get out into the world, to let loose, to be able to shine. But unfortunately, this modality just doesn't give you the room to fully express those. Or maybe you've learnt other modalities and you're enjoying them, but you still feel you just lack a little bit of confidence in your healing. And you're looking maybe for something to give you that boost. Well, if any of those things ring at all true for you, then you are going to love Qi activation. Now, to help understand Qi activation and what we're really trying to achieve with it, it would be worthwhile to ask ourselves what goes on when an issue arises. It could be an emotional issue, it could be a physical issue. What's actually happening? And if we kind of narrow it down to the root cause, what we find is there is an energetic imbalance somewhere. And that could just be an emotional state, and you'll find that in your body there'll be an energetic imbalance, or it could be a physical issue, and again, the same energetic imbalance. Now, how do we go about healing that? Well, in many ways, it is a lot like sound cancellation technology. So imagine you've got a sound wave and you want to neutralize it or cancel it. So the way the technology works is if you've got a sound wave, let's imagine it's like that, then to neutralize it, you shoot the inverse of it, okay? So the absolute reverse of it, the inverse of it, and that one neutralizes the other. It kind of makes sense. It's almost mathematical. So you can think of it the same with healing. Imagine you've got someone who really isn't very grounded, okay? So they're all up here, they're all up in the higher chakras and this sort of energy, and they really struggle maybe to go out in crowds, to mix with people. They find they're very sensitive to the energies of other people around them. And what they really need then is some grounding, right? Now, if you have only one modality to work with, and that, let's say that healing modality uses a very high energy frequency, right? Now, it's probably amazing for many things, but if you need grounding, it is not going to help you, because you need a sort of a more grounding energy down here, and your energy, which you can tap into, is only up here. That could be a problem. And so you find that really, for a lot of healing modalities, we're limited because they are what I would call single frequency modalities. So they teach you to tap into a frequency of energy. It could be like the Reiki frequency, okay? And it's a great frequency, and Reiki is a sort of a medium range kind of frequency. It's not super high, it's not super low, it's kind of mid-range. And it tends to be good for many things. But the challenge is, and this is the issue, if we only have one frequency to work with, then per force, when we have either ourselves to work on or a client, it is one size fits all. So it doesn't matter whether they need grounding or whether they need really high energy to kind of lift up their energy. We just have the same energy. We fire that energy at them, whatever. Now, it's not a total catastrophe, because our body can take that energy and kind of process it. So it's a little bit like, imagine that you needed, say, energy because you've been doing lots of exercise. Now, the simplest thing would be to eat some carbs, but you don't have any carbs. All you've got, let's say, is a steak or maybe some beans or something, sort of heavy protein dish. Well, you can eat that, and your body will, in a certain way, it'll convert that to energy which you can use, but it's a lot harder. If you just gave it some carbs, or imagine you were running a marathon, maybe just give yourself some glucose, and boom, that's the instant energy you need. But if you needed to put on muscle and you needed protein, it's a lot easier if you have the proteins from the actual food as opposed to, say, getting carbs. So it's not that carbs or protein is good. It's not that higher or low energy is necessarily good or bad. It's just there are certain energies for certain jobs, and you want to pick the right one. But if you only have one frequency, then it becomes challenging. And so really that's what chi activation is doing. It's saying, you know what, instead of learning just to tap into one frequency, let's learn to tap into multiple frequencies. And then we're going to have the range. So if you need a grounding energy frequency, you've got it. If you need a high range, you've got it. You need a mid-range, you've got it. In fact, even just in level 1, you learn 3 frequencies and they're very diverse. You learn Earth Star, which is a super grounding. I mean, you think of base chakra and you know how grounding that can be. Well, Earth Star just takes it to the next level. So we learn to tap into that energy to heal ourselves and to heal others. And then we also learn Soul Star. So again, crown chakra is very high vibrational. We go beyond that up to the Soul Star, super high vibrational. And then to cap it all off, we've got the heart chakra energy, which we've learned to tap into to heal with as well. And so we've got like very high, low, and mid-range. And so it covers most bases, even just learning level 1. And that's so if you need the high, you've got it, you need the low, you've got it, etc. This gives you a lot more versatility with healing. So in a way, when we're working with chi activation, as we go through the different levels, we learn more and more frequencies until ultimately we go what I call off-grid. Off-grid means we learn to tap into intuitively the exact kind of counterbalance frequency. So it's a bit like a seesaw. It's like here, imagine you've got someone who's kind of way down that end, you probably have to go further on that side, right? And so it kind of works like sort of just a balancing scales kind of thing. But we learn to tap into the exact frequency to balance. So very exciting stuff there, and you find then that it's very versatile. Now, another good thing about the course is that it gives you a lot of kind of structure and support. So the issue with a lot of healing courses is you go along to them, you have a great time, say on the weekend, and that's it. There's not really much around that. Maybe they give you a manual. Often the manual isn't great. It's just kind of like a collection of photocopies. But maybe it's an okay manual, but that's still it. So for chi activation, what I want to do is I've created like a structure to it and a lot more kind of materials and resources for you. So before the course, you've actually got a little pre-course which you can go through different meditations, bits of information, all these materials, kind of video and written information. You can access it on a desktop, but there's also an app you can use to make accessing it really easy. We've got a post-course program, so there's a 21-day post-course program afterwards where I send you an email every day with things to practice and additional bits of information. As I said, we've got the manual is very detailed, so this post-course kind of complements that. And then we've also got in the portal after the course, like lots and lots of all the different meditations we cover. You've got activation, so we activate each of the chakras, which we're working on to connect to energy, which means that it's a little bit like a Reiki attunement in that it's instantaneous. You get activated and now you can access that energy frequency to do healing. And so it's really immediate. We also have bonuses like at the course, there's an aura machine. This was a very expensive machine I bought from the United States, and it creates a kind of energy profile of you, and then it gives you a report based on that. So it's not kind of a personality profile based on things like, your own subjective opinions when you fill out a form. It doesn't care about any of that. It just looks at your energy, goes, okay, that is the kind of person which you tend to be, and it will give you a whole report based on that. So it's very fascinating. Okay, so that then gives you just a little bit of an idea of chi activation. What I've tried to do is include lots of information on the website. Again, a frustration of mine is often you look in different courses and there really isn't much information there. So I've tried to give you a lot of information on the course on the website, and I've also created an ebook. And so if you just join the newsletter, you'll see hopefully some sort of pop-up will appear on the website and you'll get a chance to kind of join the newsletter, and then you can get sent that ebook. And so that would be really useful. If you've got any questions, then just get on to me, email me on the number here you'll find below, or call me on the number, email me there. And also remember that with this course, I actually have a guarantee. So no one is ever it's actually fairly new chi activation. I've only taught it for 2 years, but in that time, no one's actually asked for a refund, but it is there because I know it's a new modality. You might not have heard of it, and you don't want to feel that you have to take a risk. So absolutely no risk. Come along. I'm sure you'll love it. It's the most advanced healing modality that I teach. I also teach Pella and I teach Reiki, so I love them both. But what you'll find is this will really complement those modalities, and it's going to extend them. So it's going to take you further. So if you feel that you've got kind of untapped healing potential in you, then come along to the chi activation, because you'll find it very liberating, and you'll find it draws out a lot more of your innate abilities. So you're very much going to love it. So if you've got any questions, get on to me, and I hope to see you at the course.